Message and a word from your local station.
Its exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Chevrolet Trucks, Pepsi One, Delta Airlines, and by DirecTV.
Welcome back to the McKale Center. Game 2 from the West region in Tucson. 6th-seeded Purdue out of the Big Ten against 11th-seeded Dayton out of the Atlantic 10. And the bracket, the winner of this game takes on Oklahoma. Winners today over Winthrop, Louisville, Gonzaga later on tonight. St. John's, Northern Arizona in the nightcap. Gus Johnson, Dan Bonner with you. The Atlantic 10 versus the Big Ten. This Dayton team, very dangerous, Dan, and they have a very impressive freshman playing for them.
A veteran team, but with a freshman like Brooks Hall. Outstanding statistics this year, a well-rounded player. You'd expect that from the gentleman who was Mr. Basketball in Ohio last year, a deadly three-point shooter. He's going to be an important factor today.
Meanwhile, for the Purdue Boilermakers, they're a veteran team, very tough and very gritty, and their leader, kid by the name of Citizen Payne.
Well, of course, you're talking about Brian Cardinal, and tough and gritty certainly describes him. Great stats again, but that doesn't begin to tell the story of Brian Cardinal. His effort, his enthusiasm, really contagious for this team. But let's not forget the fact that he is an excellent three-point shooter, an outstanding rebounder. There's more to him than just grit and hustle.
So Purdue 2-0 lifetime against Dayton. Coming up, it's Purdue and Dayton in Tucson. Welcome back to the desert, Tucson, Arizona. Site of first-round action in the West region. Game number 2, 6th-seeded Purdue against 11th-seeded Dayton. Now let's join Beth Mowens, who's our sideline reporter.
Gus, ignorance is definitely not bliss for a coach who's only got about 48 hours to prepare for a first-round opponent he probably knows very little about. In fact, yesterday, Purdue coach Gene Cady was carrying around the Dayton media guide during their practice. He had it stuffed with the Flyers' tendencies and scouting reports. Cady says, for any team playing a first-round game, the significant thing is that the team has to be able to convert into its game plan on very short notice. Gus?
All right, Beth, let's take a look at the lineups. Dayton on the left, Young with Stanley in the backcourt, Ashman, the 6th center, Hall and Green in the front court. Meanwhile, for Purdue, Cunningham and Cornell struggled in the Big Ten tournament against Wisconsin. They're in the backcourt with Smith, Robinson, and Brian Cardinal. Citizen Payne in the front court. The head coach for Dayton, Oliver Purnell, 6th year at Dayton, and he has led the Flyers to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1990. Meanwhile, Gene Cady on the other sideline, 20th year at Purdue. His Boilermakers advancing to back-to-back Sweet 16s. They lost last year in the East Regional semifinal against Temple, 77-55 in New Jersey. Once again, the bracket here in Tucson. Oklahoma advancing by defeating Winthrop, and Purdue and Dayton. Oklahoma ready for the winner of this one. Louisville, Gonzaga later on tonight. St. John's, Northern Arizona as well. Great atmosphere here at the McKale Center. The Purdue Boilermakers out of the Big Ten, the Dayton Flyers out of the Atlantic 10. Dayton with a very rich history in college basketball. I remember when I was in high school watching a guy by the name of Roosevelt Chapman from New York. But they go even further back than that. And a look at the officials for this one. Jim Burr, the lead, Terry Moore, and Mike Woods.
Gus, keep in mind that the Dayton Flyers have a tremendous basketball tradition. They had 7 different guys named All-American in the 50s and 60s.
So Dayton in red, Purdue in white. They've met 2 times, both meetings won by the Boilermakers in the NIT. So the toss and the tap, and it's controlled by Dayton. Edwin Young. And Hall guarded by Cornell. Stanley steps back. This one just underway from Tucson, Purdue, and Dayton. And immediately coming in a 6th seed, and Dayton an 11th seed.
And immediately Dayton gets the shot they want, the 3-pointer by the freshman Brooks Hall, but Oliver Purnell a little upset because not only did Hall miss the shot, but a great block out by Jerron Cornell resulted in a foul on Brooks Hall.
Purdue 21-9 overall, finished 12.
Smith considered to be the best Purdue post defender. They try to front and deny the ball down there, and they'd be well advised to keep it out of the hands of Ashman.
1-point game. Brooks Hall, recruited by virtually every team in the Big Ten Conference, elected to go to Dayton. 10 to shoot. Now Young off the dribble down the lane, and a whistle. Carson Cunningham, and that's what you talked about, and that's what Oliver Purnell talked about, the quickness from their guards to get in deep on Purdue.
And that's, again, Purdue told us that that's where they've had a problem this year, defending that kind of quickness. Cunningham's got to realize how much time there is left on the clock and move his feet just a little bit better. Now Kirchhoff, who has the reputation as a defensive guard in the ballgame.
Also, John Allison, number 54. Now David Morris in the game, number 15. The point guard for Dayton, guarded by Kirchhoff.
Ashman really wants the ball on the inside.
Ashman, look at the bump across the lane. Block! McKale into the hands of Morris. Off the front rim. Ashman, tough rebound. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Flyers.
Tremendous intensity in this basketball game. These guys are really going at one another.
Dayton, Purdue, going at each other from the very beginning. Back in a moment.
Purdue with a 1-point lead, and to the left of the rim is Greg McKale, and watch him step in, and just that's what you call help defense right there, smacking that thing away.
And don't forget, those of you expecting to see Samford Syracuse, that game will be brought to you Eastern Time, 3:23.
Now Morris in the game for Dayton. He's a guy they put in when they feel like they need a little spark on the offensive end.
For 3. So far, Dayton 2 of 9 from the field. And a whistle.
And that's on Brooks Hall, and that is his 2nd personal foul, Gus. This is just a collision as these guys go after the basketball. The ball up for grabs, and Hall runs right into Kirchhoff and knocks him down. It's one of those inadvertent things. Oliver Purnell very disappointed that a 2nd foul was called on his star freshman.
Ted Fitz comes into the game. Here's full court pressure by Dayton. Also, Yante Holland leading the diamond trap for Dayton, number 23. And the Boilermakers break it. Kirchhoff.
Well, the pace of this game, each team going to the bench early.
Robinson, baseline turnaround. Stanley with the rebound.
There's that big guard we talked about, 6'4", 205 pounds. He can do a number in on the boards.
Morris guarded by Kirchhoff. 1-point game. 5 minutes into the first half of play.
Ashman simply hasn't been able to handle the ball down on the blocks.
Dante Holland. 13 to shoot. Morris. Stop and start. Got it back. Ashman, 13-footer off the heel of the rim.
Dayton getting some good looks at the basket. They just haven't been able to put them down.
They're 2 of 10 from the field. Jerron Cornell. Neither team shooting the ball well. Purdue 2 of 6 from the field.
And now they've got a foul called inside on Allison, and this is the matchup inside. Ashman in the red, number 34, number 54, Allison in the white. They are really going at one another, and Ashman simply ball down on the inside, and that has had an effect on the Dayton offense.
So Stanley and Ashman take a seat. Edwin Young back into the game, along with 6'11" senior Matt Cooper from Worthington, Ohio.
Cooper not nearly the offensive threat on the inside that Ashman represents. Purdue has been very, very aggressive on the defensive end.
Fitz, Coach Purnell says, has a tremendous basketball IQ, chemical engineering major. One side, Holland, triple team, travels.
Got to recognize when they dropped down on the ball, there were actually 4 white shirts around Holland. That means somebody had to be open. He's got to do a better job passing to the open teammate.
Carson Cunningham back into the game, along with Rodney Smith, number 31. Here's Lewis, Maynard Lewis. Allison on the baseline. Strip, stolen.
That's a good play. Don't want to let that big guy dribble the ball.
Young down the lane. Blocking foul coming up on Purdue.
I'm beginning to think we may not have another field goal in this game. These guys are running up and down. They're defending the heck out of one another, and it's very, very physical early.
Smith called for his first. Gene Katie, 7-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. And Edwin Young at the free throw line. Missed the first. Monday on CBS, if your parents lived right across the street, how far would you go to stop them from always hanging out at your place? You won't believe what Ray does to get his parents a social life on an all-new Raymond Monday on CBS.
Maybe a little bit of case of the nerves for both teams. Dayton, an outstanding free throw shooting team, and Young misses them both.
Don't forget, Samford, Syracuse coming at 3:23 Eastern time. Young missing both free throws.
Dayton doing a great job applying defensive pressure as well.
And a trip. Smith tripped up by Teddy Fitz, the senior from Cincinnati.
And that's a tough matchup for Fitz because Rodney Smith, in addition to being Purdue's best inside defender, is also their most explosive guy off the dribble.
Allison takes a seat. Cardinal back into the game, along with Mike Robinson. Fitz picks up his first.
Scoring has not been the highlight of the first half. It's been these two teams really going at one another. Dayton now drops into the zone.
Smith. Skip pass. Cunningham. Quick release. In and out. Loose ball.
Great rebound.
Smith has it blocked though. Cooper. Fitz with the rebound. Both teams giving out a maximum effort on defense. Purdue, 2 of 8 from the field.
Where just everything is contested on both ends of the court.
Now Cooper flashes. Great look to Green, and it's knocked out of bounds. 12:35 to go in the first half of play. That is not an incorrect score. Purdue leads Dayton 5-4.
It is a game that has been characterized by intensity by both teams, particularly on the defensive end. Brooks Hall, the stellar freshman for Dayton, has 2 personal fouls. He got them early. He's on the bench.
So Nate Green makes the first free throw. He's a freshman from Laurel, Maryland. Great body, 6'6", 240. Nice touch, too. The left-hander. Second one rims out. And Mike Robinson with the rebound. Game tied at 5.
Dayton coming in a 72% free throw shooting team, but they've missed 3 of their first 4.
Cardinal for 3. Rimmed out. Lewis with the rebound. And a new shot clock for the Boilermakers.
Good defensive pressure by Dayton.
Here's Robinson trying to back in. On his hip, weak side. Cardinal sets. In and out, back in. Those rims are a little tight, Danny.
Well, something's wrong with those rims. These teams certainly can't get it to go in the basket. Cardinal that time had a wide open look from three-point range, and he's just too good a shooter to give him that much time.
off the dribble. Great look, Cooper.
There's that quickness again. Forces the defense to react and commit. Somebody's got to be open.
Now Cardinal leans in and hits. Citizen Payne, who looks like he's probably 10 years older than most of the people on the floor. But he's got a veteran game, a mature game.
And he scored the last 5 points for Purdue, and they definitely needed a little bit of an offensive spark.
Young reverses down the lane. Traveling. Nate Green. 11:01 to go in the first half of play. Dayton trying to hang close to Purdue.
Ladies and gentlemen, Metro Airways 56. Transfer Express. Frankfurt, Rome. Airlines Flight 755.
Hello? Yo, who's that? Yo, it's D. True. Hello? Yo, it's T. True.
You shouldn't have to worry about your website. Microsoft Windows 2000 was built for total reliability. The business internet starts with Microsoft.
As American as country music, genuine, irresistible, the original song of the South. Applebee's invites you to try something new. Chicken fried chicken, a whole boneless breast marinated and breaded. Then chicken fried Southern style, so it's crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. Complement it with traditional fixins, and you've got Applebee's chicken fried chicken. As unique as Nashville, as American as Applebee's.
It's madness in here. I get real-time scores, zips, live interactive brackets, boom, fast breaking news, CBS Sportsline, Kazam, when you've got to know more.
The data bank, and Dayton, a basketball hotbed, especially in the 50s and 60s. Look at their winning percentage. 81%, second winningest team behind UCLA. And as a matter of fact, they went to the national championship, lost to UCLA 66-67.
Gus, that is a great trivia question. If you said who was the winningest team of the 50s and 60s, most people would probably say UCLA, but it's Dayton. We mentioned they had seven different players named All-American during the 50s and 60s. And right now, they're just concerned about how to get the ball to go in the basket against this Purdue defense.
Smith hard across the lane. McQuay knocked out of bounds. We stay right here. Edwin Young got a hand on it. Good call by the official, Jim Burr, on the baseline.
You just get the idea that the first team that can put something together on offense may have a tremendous advantage. And now Purdue stretches the lead out to 6. Couple of threes now for the Boilermakers.
13-7, and that is a very good sign for Gene Katie to see his point guard Carson Cunningham knocking down shots from the perimeter, but he can't let his man drive by him like that. Morris with the feline quickness. Now Cornell. Holland with the two-hand rebound.
That's an outstanding rebound.
13-9. Purdue. Dante Holland, quick spin on the baseline. Tough move.
Holland is the guy that really gives them some spark off the bench as well. Normally he comes in for Green. Not nearly as big, but a much better offensive player.
2-point game. Robinson seals. And an easy layup from Cornell.
Stanley went for the steal, and you just cannot, if you're going to go for the steal down there, you have to get it. You can't let the guy have an uncontested shot that close to the basket.
Holland, the kick out. Young leans in. Holland, the tip. Yote.
After a couple of trips up and down the court where nobody could score, now we've had a couple of trips up and down the court where everybody scored.
McQuay. Short. Mike Robinson, the kick out. Cunningham. Oh, here they go. Now they're heating up a little bit.
Mike Robinson is generally considered to be the offensive rebounding specialist for the Boilermakers, and he's achieving that specialty today.
Cunningham stops for three. Rattled it down. Carson Cunningham on fire in the last 3 minutes. 8:59 to go, first half of play. Purdue up 21-13.
It's you against him, against her, and who knows who else, all going for the same job. So what's going to set you apart? Kforce.com. For the first time, the power of the internet is backed by over 2,000 Kforce recruiting specialists to help you break through.
He's the one.
Kforce.com. Opportunity has a new address.
Man, I'm hungry.
What, $1 for a sliver of raw fish?
It's sushi.
Sushi, where I'm from, we call that stuff bait.
What else can you get for just $1?
Well, I can get a 20-minute phone call for only 99 cents.
We're kidding around.
No, it's true. Dial 10-10-220. It's just 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes.
And just 7 cents a minute after that.
And get this, there's no monthly fee.
10-10-220 really is a great deal.
We know. Hey, you forgot to cook this.
Dial 10-10-220.
Look out. There's a new faucet in town. Introducing the new pull-out spray from Delta with a radical new design, combining beauty, practicality, and just a touch of attitude. Delta, the faucet.
Introducing the biggest, boldest player in the Colonel's Sandwich lineup.
My spicy triple crunch zinger.
Not one, not two, but 3 big strips of white meat chicken, plus the Colonel's spicy zinger sauce. Try one today for just $1.99.
Booyah!
Look, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Monday on CBS, let the games begin. Critics are calling Grapevine the smartest sitcom since Friends. Christy Swanson stars in an all-new Grapevine after the King of Queens Monday on CBS. Carson Cunningham really lightening things up. He has 3 threes, 9 points, and Purdue on an 8-2 run in the last minute.
Brian Cardinal has a 3-point basket as well, so the Boilermakers putting 4 threes up on the board are the first team to break out of the offensive doldrums. Just an outstanding effort by Cunningham. Tony Stanley taking care of some housekeeping over in front of the Dayton bench. That's what the holdup is.
Well, Purdue had gone 4 minutes earlier without scoring a basket. Now Morris takes the pass from Holland. He has Stanley. Brooks Hall playing with 2 fouls.
Mike Robinson thus far has done an outstanding job against Tony Stanley, preventing him from catching the ball in positions where he can do any damage.
Mark Ashman working hard inside. Here's Stanley off the dribble, leans in, double clutch, gets it back, wraps it around. Ashman with the lay-in.
Boy, that was a great explosion by Stanley down the lane. Nothing coming easy for the Dayton Flyers.
And they get back into that 2-3 zone.
Drop back into the zone.
Cardinal, Robinson. Great ball movement, Cornell. 15 to shoot, Kirchhoff wide open. That ball really whizzed around the perimeter, Danny.
Kirchhoff is not a guy that you put in the game to shoot 3-point baskets. In fact, that's only his 5th 3-point basket of the year, and Purdue has has 5.5.
50%. Cardinal almost with the steal. 7:57 to go, first half of play. 24-15 Purdue.
Jerry.
57 to go in the first half of play, 24-15. The game summary, the most important statistic. Purdue on the season, a 35% three-point shooting team. They're 5 of 10 to start this basketball game.
In Purdue's last 2 games of the season, their loss at Indiana and then their loss in the first round of the Big Ten tournament, they really struggled to put points on the board. The game is much easier when the ball's going in the basket. And Purdue not only is getting it in the basket, they're getting it in the basket from long range.
Hall inbounding to Morris, Ashman, Holland, and Stanley on the floor for the Dayton Flyers in red. 24-15 the score. And a whistle blocking. Coming up on the Boilermakers.
On Allison. Purdue working very hard to keep Ashman out of the lane, pushing him off the spot that he wants to occupy, trying to keep the ball out of his hands. And that has been a key to the early Purdue defensive success.
Second foul on Allison. 5th team foul called against Purdue. Remember, in college basketball, 7. And then you go to the 1-and-1, 10, and you're in the double bonus. Al Cornell.
Dayton back to the man-to-man.
Up top, Smith from deep. He can hit it. Rebounded Stanley. Flyers on the break. Jump stop Stanley. Count it. 7:18 to go in the first half of play. The story, Purdue from the three-point line, 5 of 10. And the Boilermakers lead the Flyers 24-17.
Game started out as an intense defensive battle. Purdue opened that up with their three-point shooting, but the Boilermakers do not want to get in the habit of settling for the outside shot on the offensive end. They need to try to get the ball inside some against Dayton.
Carson Cunningham, number 43 in white, back into the game. He has 3 threes already for Purdue.
And Brooks Hall has re-entered the game despite those 2 personal fouls. Oliver Purnell looking for an offensive spark.
That one knocked away, picked up Smith. Robinson spots up to Cornell. It's short. And the weak side rebound controlled by the Flyers.
And with those tall guards that they have, Dayton with a real advantage. Got 5 guys able to go get it off the board.
Young dribbles it off of his foot. Cardinal hits the ground. And speaking of those guards, Stanley has 5 rebounds for Dayton. The bracket here in the West, Tucson, Oklahoma, easily over Winthrop, 74-50. J.R. Raymond with 14 points, 4 threes. They take on the winner of this one, followed by Louisville, Gonzaga later on, and St. John's, Northern Arizona.
Dayton, which has showed some zone defense, now back into the man-to-man, really trying to pressure the basketball.
Cunningham. Smith, the up fake, he travels. Shuffled his feet. Get a complete scouting report on the starting lineups for all 64 tournament teams. Just click on March Mayhem at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline. Kelvin Sampson, the man you saw looking at the statistics
you mean
in the stands.
He's not checking out CBS Sportsline?
That's probably what he was doing. Stanley almost lost the handle. Now Morris, he's shifty, down the lane, pump fake, baby jumper short.
Oh, what a rebound!
Ashman picks it up. Morris control.
My goodness, are these teams going after one another?
Stanley, double team, and foul.
Defensively, Purdue is trying to front the post, and when you front the guys down in the low post, you've got to work very, very hard, because when they reverse the ball to the other side, you got to get around and get in front once again.
And the game clock reads 24-18, but the score is 24-17, and they're going to have to make a correction. Dayton given an extra point.
Dayton will take.
I don't think think they're aware of it as we speak. Holland down the lane.
Boy, Robinson got his hand on that one.
And the whistle knocked away. And there's a look at the clock, 24-18, but the score is 24-17. And it is yet to be changed. Lead pass Cornell. In and out of his hands and out of bounds.
Cornell saw a clear field to the basket, and Gene Katie would wish that Cornell was able to grab onto that one and take it to the goal.
So substitutes coming into the game. Number 12 for Purdue, Maynard Lewis.
Again, the pace of this game is going to require that each coach use his bench effectively.
Stanley, baseline, kicks it out. Loose ball, claimed by Lewis. Diagonal pass, Cunningham, hesitation, great looking play, but it won't stay down. (24-17). Ashman rising fire and hits.
Ashman is a guy that can go out and shoot the ball, and sometimes if they're denying it to you inside, it's a big advantage if you can get some points outside.
24-19. Robinson. Offensive rebound stolen away by Stanley.
Great job to get the rebound, but you don't want to put it on the floor with all those little guys around. Second violation right here.
Morris. Under 4 to go, first half of play.
Dayton not really doing a very good job getting the ball from one side of the court to the other.
Morris picks up the dribble, stolen away. McQuay stepping into the passing lane.
You got to move the ball from side to side. As I said, Purdue is fronting down in the low post, and if you move the ball quickly from one side to the other, that low post guy has to be open. But Dayton keeping the ball on one side of the court.
Cardinal down the lane. Oh! McQuay! The high riser with the tip dunk.
Purdue is doing a great job on the offensive boards. And Gene Katie over there just really trying to get his troops fired up.
And a timeout on the floor.
30-second timeout.
3:11 to go. First half of play. Purdue leading Dayton.
Purdue leads it by 7, and they do so in impressive fashion. The Boilermakers really working the offensive boards. Cardinal draws 4 red shirts, and there is McQuay just flying in. Holland, number 23, goes over to pick up. Nobody blocks out McQuay. And once again, we see McQuay rising up to well above the rim to dunk it down.
And the score reads 26-20. Dayton given an extra point right now. Lead official Jim Bird talking to the scorers table, and they're probably going through their tabulations. But our score 26-19.
Of course, Gus, the score up on the scoreboard is not the official score. The official score is the score as recorded by the running score total in the official scorebook. So whatever they have in there is the score, whether it be 26-19 or 26-20 or 37-58.
Well, we want to make sure we have it right as well. We know that we have it right, but we want to make sure.
We absolutely want to make sure. But again, doesn't matter what score we have. It's those guys sitting over there keeping the official scorebook.
This is correct. So Dayton, 9 of 24 from the field. 0 for 6 from the three-point line. 1 of 4 from the free throw line. So that equals 19.
And it's possible that they may have credited a basket as a 3 that was really a 2. But that's exactly the problem that they're trying to get straightened out. They're making sure that everybody is in agreement over there. Each of the 2 schools has a representative keeping the scorebook, but neither of those books is the official book.
Jim Burr, the lead official, doing a terrific job. And the scores table now calling.
And there's
the official, Terry Moore, over.
I think they're waiting for the scoreboard to be changed.
They want Jim Burr, rather, to go back to the scores table. I think they may have found the correction. The McKale Center here in Tucson, Arizona.
And that is Doug Shows, the standby or alternate official, who is speaking with Jim Burr. Now Doug gets up and he's going to go over and they're going to try to get this resolved.
And the official scorer's name is Jim Wilkes.
And this obviously is a very critical matter. You never know what that 1 point is going to mean in an NCAA tournament game.
No question about it.
And they're taking a lot of time because they want to make sure that they get it right.
Purdue seeded 6th. Dayton seeded 11th. And now the officials will have a meeting.
And Jim Burr puts his hand to his forehead. This is the kind of problem you don't need. And the issue in this situation, I think, has to be that they credited Dayton with a 3-point basket.
Whether it was a 3.
2 or 3, yes. And it doesn't matter what they wrote down in the book, it's what the officials called.
So the officials want to see the last 2 3-point attempts by Dayton. Now the score has been changed to 19. Here's the last one.
And you can clearly see right there as Stanley goes up, he's got his foot inside the line, and that was the one that over at the scorer's table, they put it up on the scoreboard as a 3 when it was really a 2.
Now we're back on track, 26-19. Purdue on top of Dayton, and the Flyers turn it over. Cunningham down the lane, picks it up.
He took that ball too deeply. You cannot take it in that far unless you're going to take it all the way to the basket.
Young lean-in jump shot, and McQuay with the clear.
Dayton has not played very well in this transition game in the first half.
Robinson reverse layup, he's fouled. Lightning quick move, though, on the baseline by Mike Robinson.
Gus, I want to go back and clarify what the ruling is on that particular play where they took the point off the scoreboard. The officials never signaled that it was a 3. The folks operating at the scoreboard just assumed it was a 3. Had the officials signaled it was a 3, too much time had passed by to correct that error, but the officials never made an error. It was the folks over at the scorer's table, and you can correct that kind of an error at any point during the basketball game.
Robinson missing the first free throw. Substitutes coming into the game. Morris along with Holland, Young, and Green take a seat.
And Morris is going to have to, I think, be a very important player for Dayton. This game has taken on a transition tone, and Morris is the kind of a guy that Dayton looks to in that type of a ball game.
Second free throw off as well. Hall with the rebound.
Robinson, an outstanding offensive rebounder, but not a good free throw shooter. Loses a lot of points for the Boilermakers by his inability to convert from below.
Stanley. And it's partially blocked. And Ashman tries to save it. We'll stay right here. Back to Tucson after this. 26-19, Purdue on top of Dayton. Coming up on Pennzoil at the half, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament news, all the scores and highlights, plus a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament. That's all coming up on Pennzoil at the half. Gus Johnson, Dan Bonner with you. Purdue very successful from the perimeter, 5 of 12 from the three-point line.
And that's a positive sign for Purdue, but a negative sign for Purdue is that they haven't done very well inside. Now, Dayton has gotten it done on the interior, but they have yet to hit a three-point basket.
Stanley off the dribble to Holland. Great look.
Holland really Carno has nice hands on the inside.
Holland with 6 points. 5-point game. Closing in on 2 minutes to go in the first half. Purdue a number 6. Dayton a number 11. Knocked away and a steal. Now Morris. Stanley for 3. Tip. Holland again. Made possible by Hall.
Brooks Hall with those 2 personal fouls, really not worrying about that. Great job on the offensive boards, and you don't often see Purdue get beat up inside like this.
Now Cardinal, cross court. Cunningham down the lane. Left hand scoop. Loose ball, and Stanley comes out with it. His 6th rebound in the first half of play.
Boy, Robinson and McQuay had a couple of opportunities for the tip.
Dayton can tie it with a 3. Oh, quick wraparound. Holland, exclamation point.
Dayton's getting everything close to the basket, and Purdue, relying on those 3s, is suffering.
Dayton flying high, 1-point game.
To all the new e-businesses, just
Dayton on an 8-0 run. Purdue leads by 1 with 1:02 to go in the first half of play.
Lots of times those 3-point baskets early in the game can be fool's gold for a team like Purdue, that they were very effective from 3-point range, but they haven't been trying to go inside lately.
26-25. Purdue on top of Dayton. Purdue got off to a good start. They're 5 of 12 from the 3-point line. However, Dayton has gone on an 8-0 run, and it's a 1-point game.
And Dayton is getting everything close to the basket. Purdue from the outside early, but Dayton with some intense defensive pressure has caused some turnovers and gotten back into this game with tremendous play on the inside.
9 turnovers for Purdue. Here's a full court press, end-to-end. Cunningham, Robinson walking it up the floor. Cunningham gets it over the line. Bob Cornell has been very quiet for the Boilermakers today.
Cornell is really a catch-and-shoot guy, and the Dayton Flyers have done a nice job preventing him.
There he is, drives baseline, blocked, picked up by Fitz. Flyers can take the lead on this trip. 25 seconds to go. Shot clock turned off. Stanley, 15-footer. Ashman, rebound. Ashman leans in, fits the tip, won't stay down, and Cardinal comes out with it.
Now, how did Cardinal do that? Gussie fell down trying to draw the charge, but got back up and got into play.
Cunningham off the dribble. Cardinal at the buzzer. Count it. And that is the end of the first half of play. (28-25). Purdue heads into the locker room, leading Dayton. Now let's go to Beth Mowens on the sideline.
Well, Coach Katie, what kind of adjustments are you going to make in the locker room concerning your interior defense?
Well, we're going to try to keep them from getting the baseline. We keep giving them the baseline, and then they kick it off to the weak side guy for layups. So we're just giving too many layups.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Gus?
And that's the end of the first half with the score. Purdue leading Dayton 28-25. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Syracuse in the lead. What do you think about this one, Clark, with Samford? Well, Samford has to make the three-point shot and not turn the ball over as much as they have so far. Syracuse, on the other hand, really trying to establish Etan Thomas inside, and so far doing a nice job of that. All right, we'll take you out to Cleveland, Ohio, and rejoin that game, and we'll do that right after this.
Welcome those of you watching Dayton-Purdue here with 2:51 to play. In the first half, the 4th seed Orangemen of Syracuse lead the 13th seed Bulldogs of Samford 31-23. Missed opportunity right there. Salyers digs it out though, feeds to Rollins the 3. He hits another. He's got 5 3-point shots.
Slowly but surely, the pace the Bulldogs have kept it at
has gotten them back in the game. Finally, their jump shots are going in.
2.5 to play in the half. 5 3-pointers. And there's a nice shot by Jason Hart, the great guard from Los Angeles for the Orange.
Hart's been solid in the offensive end, not only scoring but distributing.
Weaver guarded by Bland and Brown. Salyers down low, back to Weaver, their top 3-point shooter, drives across the lane, feeds back on top to Lopez against a 2-3 zone.
Well, again, the recovery by the Orangemen, but you want to keep putting it inside, penetrate, then you're open. The guys outside will be open.
9 to shoot. Daniel on that spin move. Lopez, and they get it down low to Salyers, who can't hit. Earlier today, we saw a double overtime win for Kentucky over St. Bonaventure, 85 to 80. As Hart drives and forces the shot with a great play.
This kid using his size and his strength. 6'3", 180 pounds. Lopez only 6'1", about 170. And the senior Hart, the last 2 possessions, has simply said, we need baskets, I'll get them.
Hart is on Rawlings with the shot right there, and a foul called on Jason Hart. Picks up his first of the game.
So the Orange Men with 1:22 to play in the first half with a 35-26 lead. Meanwhile, at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Central Connecticut State has closed the gap on Iowa State. It's 53-42. 18 minutes to play in the second half. Let's take you there, join Vern Lundquist and Bill Raftery.
18 to go now in the second half. Iowa State back into a double-digit lead after Central Connecticut State carved it to within 6. And a travel from Stevie Johnson.
Well, early in the game, it was good defense, aggressive play, involvement of Pfizer. You can see the numbers by Pfizer and John Tice here. Pfizer inside, posting up, outside jump shot, running the floor, defensive. And John Tice has stepped his game up as well. So offensive rebounds. All of a sudden, they're running their half-court sets much better. That's why they're back in this game.
Mickens back outside to Tomas Brookins. Iowa State jumped out to an 18-point lead in the first 8 minutes. And then a marvelous comeback by Central Connecticut State, culminated with Tomas Brookins' 3-pointer at the buzzer. Cut the margin to 9 at the break. Here's the fadeaway. Dean Walker off the front rim.
Very tough release there.
Michael Nurse gets it in the hands of Jamal Tinsley. And Tinsley, hello. Oh, my goodness.
You said you want to go to school?
Oh. Jamal Tinsley, who grew up in Brooklyn and carved his game and honed it on the playgrounds of Brooklyn, did not attend high school and got his GTE and GRE, I beg your pardon.
Well, you become the teacher's pet with this little kid shot. He has just been terrific all year long. So enjoyable to watch his growth as a player. And the best part of his game may be defense. Slapping and deflecting.
Cannot convert the 3-point play. 55-42. 17 to go. Now Brookins.
Nice pass.
Beauty. John Tice up and under. A little too strong. And here comes Tinsley again for Iowa State. Morton. Same thing. Beauty.
A little bit of courage, too. Yeah. The little guy. Cantrell getting to the far side of the rim to ward off, and all of a sudden it's extended to 15.
Yeah. Cyclones back in control, one would think. Here's Tice.
Take your time on this trip. Little side pick and roll, settle for 3.
In and out. The touch is good.
And that's his game.
Iowa State with so many weapons. It was a 6-point game not so long ago, and now Iowa State has jumped out to a more comfortable 57-44 lead. Meanwhile, in Salt Lake City, Southeast Missouri State and LSU getting ready to start the second half. Let's take you there now, enjoying Craig Bolerjack and Barry Booker.
Start the second half here in Salt Lake City. Steele. Here comes Brian Bunch. Showtime. Oh, he lays it up. I gave it to him.
Well, Brian Bunch hustling, forcing a turnover at Southeast Missouri State. Strong defense, keeping them close in this ball game.
Bunch 0 for 3 in the first 20 minutes. Puts the easy layup in. It's a 3-point game. 20 on the shot clock. LSU will retain possession.
Stromal Swift had it at point-blank range. Antonio Short stepped in, slapped it away from him. Swift looked like he had an easy opportunity, but Southeast Missouri playing great D.
Wright lobs it inside to Jabari Smith. Backs in on Bunch. Shot off the glass. whistle, and a bucket.
So LSU with a 3-point lead on the Indians of Southeast Missouri State. It is now a 5-point lead at 26-21. We thank you for watching Pennzoil at the half. Second half of your game coming up from Tucson, Dayton, and Purdue right after this.
Pennzoil at the half has been sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. Championship is sponsored by Volvo, Nike, Daytech Online, and by Sealy Posturepedic.
Halftime in Tucson, Purdue leading Dayton 28-25. Moments ago, Beth Moen spoke with Dayton coach Oliver Purnell.
Coach, they seem to be stepping out on the three-pointer in that first half. Is that what enabled you to start working the ball inside a bit more?
Yeah, I thought so. I think we need to keep penetrating. And once we start to penetrate, we must got 5 or 6 layups on that. And we got to continue to do that. They pressure out on the perimeter. We got to drive them hard to the basket.
Thanks. Best of luck in the second half. Gus?
All right, Beth. Gus Johnson, along with Dan Bonner. Last shot, Brian Cardinal sent the Purdue into the locker room with a 28-25 lead.
A last play that really characterized the first half. Nothing pretty, just gritty. The shot by Cunningham. Here comes Cardinal into your screen from the top left. Catches it and puts it in. He'd gotten up off his backside on the other end of the court to get a rebound and start that play. Neither team shooting the ball very effectively. Dayton doing a great job scoring on the inside, and you can see that Purdue's getting out and really defending the three-point field goal, so that's why Dayton has had to go inside. Purdue made a lot of the three-point baskets early, but struggled toward the end of the half.
And the rebounding pretty even, with Dayton leading at 22-21. Turnovers, Dayton with 8 and Purdue with 10.
A lot of offensive rebounds in the first half. Dayton with 10 offensive rebounds, Purdue with 8. These teams really hammering one another.
The start of the second half of play, Cunningham with Smith, Cornell, Cardinal, and Mike Robinson. Here's Robinson up top, guarded by Hall.
Morris and Holland starting the second half for Oliver Purnell and Cardinal. That one's Cornell is way off, and Cardinal gets it.
Cornell lucky to have Cardinal in the right area, but right now, Jerron Cornell does not look present. It does not look like he really has his head into this game.
Had a difficult time shooting the ball, but I think it has something to do with the real good quickness and defense on the perimeter by Dayton. But Brian Cardinal, who's here at the free throw line, has really sort of taken over the game for Purdue. The last couple of seconds of the first half, and now he gets that rebound on the air ball to start the second.
And Cardinal with 8 points. Speaking of Jerron Cornell, he's 1 of 5 from the field, 0 for 4 from the three-point line. Second free throw good for Cardinal. 5-point lead, Purdue. And Morris starts the second half at the point, along with Holland, Hall, Ashman, and Stanley. Holland came up short on the lay. Now Cunningham in transition.
There's that penetration that Oliver Purnell was talking about, but Holland simply couldn't finish it.
Cardinal off the dribble. Citizen Payne taking over.
He got a big rebound at the end of the first half, scored the last bucket of the first half, and now has scored 4 points for Purdue coming out in the second half.
Hall picked up 2 quick fouls early. He's been quiet offensively. Nice feed to Ashman, who's fouled.
That was a very, very difficult entry pass. Ashman is fortunate that he was able to contain that ball, but in so doing, he drew the foul from Smith. Purdue continues to work hard to keep the ball out of his hand.
Second foul on Smith. Morris.
Morris is in the game for his ability to penetrate past Cunningham and create something.
Splits the defense. Great shovel pass. Ashman off the glass and in.
I don't think that's what Oliver Purnell had in mind, but that's what he's in there to do. Penetrate and pass.
Cardinal the other way.
They really ought to guard him.
34-27. Purdue leading Dayton.
It is the quickness and the ability of Dayton to penetrate versus Brian Cardinal here at the start of the second half.
Ashman wheeling hard off the glass.
Boy, that's a nice move by Ashman.
He has 10. Now Smith, a little bump. The spin, the pump, the dip. How about that?
That's a great job using his pivot foot. All those fakes, he kept his pivot foot and finally able to get it to the goal.
36-29. Now Stanley to the hole. Matador defense now, folks, by both teams.
And Ashman and Smith are just hammering one another.
Cornell blocked by Ashman.
Dayton wants to push.
In the corner, Stanley. Bring it up.
The first Dayton three-point basket of the game.
And we have a two-point game. 36-34. Purdue up by a deuce.
Here's your regular homepage. Here's i1.com. It's free. You use it like Yahoo, Lycos, or other search engines. Only i1.com gives away $10,000 every day, $1 million a month, and $10 million on tax day. Which one would you choose?
$10 million with no strings attached?
Yep.
It's a good thing she didn't know about this last year.
Introducing i1.com. Why wouldn't you?
Let's take a look right here and watch Jerron Cornell as he drives to the basket. He's going to have his shot blocked, and he does not do a good job hustling up the court. Dayton gets the ball, and Cornell simply sits there. Now watch as he walks back up the court, doesn't really get into the play, and as a result, there's a Dayton fire open. Stanley hits the three. That's what upset Gene Cady, and that's why he called the timeout.
And Jerron Cornell is on the bench. Cunningham along with Robinson, McQuay, Maynard, and John Allison. Purdue in white, Dayton in red.
Boy, Maynard Lewis was open underneath. Allison missed him, and then he traveled. And the Dayton defense, that quickness on the perimeter that we talked about, really getting under Gene Cady's skin right at the moment.
11 turnovers on the Boilermakers. Allison picking up his pivot foot. Dayton can tie it up on this trip or take the lead with a three.
Purdue made those 5 three-point baskets early, but they've been shut out from three-point range since that time. And Dayton has climbed back in.
Morris, 20 to shoot. Left hand dribble, stripped and fouled by Cunningham. His second. How do you want to play a guy like Morris if you know he wants to take you to the basket?
You've got to give him some room. You've got to make Morris beat you from outside the three-point arc. Cunningham, however, trying to put pressure on the ball. I think what Cunningham has to understand is that Ashman is not in the game right now for Dayton, so you can afford to give those guys a little more room on the perimeter because Cooper, number 44, is not the same offensive threat.
Saturday on CBS, hate and intolerance are destroying lives in communities across the country. Now Chuck Norris battles America's fiercest enemy. It's an all-new Walker, Texas Rangers Saturday on CBS. Cardinal back into the game, Cornell back into the game, as well as Rodney Smith, the sophomore from Indianapolis. Allison, Lewis, and McQuay take a seat. Tony Stanley adds a free throw. .36 apiece. Purdue and Dayton. Purdue a 6 and Dayton an 11. Big Ten versus the Atlantic 10. And the foul on the baseline coming up against the Flyers.
Brian Cardinal has done an outstanding job in the second half, taking the ball to the basket. That time he just beat Cooper out on the perimeter. We've been talking about the Dayton penetration, but Cardinal's been doing a nice job.
Inside Robinson, stripped and fouled.
And that is a difficult matchup for Tony Stanley. Robinson has a couple of inches in terms of size in there, and Robinson just very quick, great jumper in around the basket.
Number 23, Gene Cady on one sideline as you send Mike Robinson to the line. And Robinson's father, Michael, was a great player for Southwest Missouri State. in 2 years scored over 1,000 points. There's one good. But when you look at this Dayton team, they've come up with some big wins this year.
Oliver Purnell's squad, they had that big win over Kentucky. That was probably their signature win early in the season, and that made everybody sit up and take notice that Dayton was back.
Also defeated New Mexico 70-57. First game of the year, snapping New Mexico's 41-game non-conference home winning streak.
Gus, in that New Mexico game, as the team went down to New Mexico, their freshman Brooks Hall was talking about the pit at New Mexico and was describing to his teammates where everything was. And they said, "What, have you been here before?" And he said, "No." He went on to New Mexico's website, took a virtual tour of the pit. 20th century basketball.
Knocked away and stolen by Cardinal. 2-point lead for Purdue.
Smith really working hard down inside against Green.
Baseline spin. Kicks it out. Cardinal to Smith again. Loose ball. Cardinal to the hole. And it's knocked out of bounds. Ball crossed the baseline. And Dayton receives it again.
The words loose ball and Cardinal, how often in his career are they associated very closely? Gene Cady felt like maybe Dayton had knocked that ball out of bounds.
Brian Cardinal, his father, is the athletic trainer at Illinois. And this kid gives his heart and soul every minute of every game. Stanley off the dribble for three. And Green tracks it down. New shot clock for the Flyers.
Freshman Hall has been very quiet. He picked up those 2 early fouls. That one could be a source of some offensive production for Dayton.
Loose ball. Hall with the rebound to Ashman. Strip. Cornell with the nice hands.
Probably a little overpassing there. Hall should have taken that ball right up to the basket.
And Purdue throws it out of bounds. Rodney Smith. 38-36. 15:22 to go. Second half of play.
This is your new business. And this is your new car. The new Volvo V40. Now get back to work. Every bit of Volvo for about $24,000.
Do you have whooping in a can?
No, we only have it in gel form, and it's on aisle 4.
Now, this maple has a bounce ratio of 8.3.
How do I raise my roof?
And Netmaster 2000 works on any net.
Next. Both hands up, keep your elbows straight, and use this motion here.
Thank you very much. I will do that.
I tell you, professional trading's not what it used to be.
We've only been at it for a year.
Yeah, the year of the internet. Just my luck.
Everyone and their mother is trading online. First it was after the market's closed, then before it's open.
Now there's one open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And what's gonna happen to guys like me?
Thought about getting a website?
Daytech Online. The rules are changing.
There are many of you. There's you, the homemaker, and you, the homeowner. You, the gourmet, the paramedic, and the diplomat. You support the world, but who supports you? You are one of 68 million Americans who aren't getting enough sleep. The kind of deep sleep you get on a bed that uniquely cradles and supports your body as no other bed does.
Oh, I love this bed.
The crown jewel from Sealy Posturepedic. We support you night and day.
An unbelievable custody battle.
Now Josh is going to pack a 6-year-old off to the Himalayas. Ryan is the reincarnation of the High Lama.
All new Family Law, CBS Monday.
Tournament summary, Kentucky needed 2 overtimes to beat St. Bonaventure, and the SEC and Big 12 so far 4-0. Let's take a look at some of today's heroes.
See Tayshaun Prince with a big game for Kentucky. Damian Fishback really stepping up in the absence of Chris Porter, and Darren Kelly off the bench for Texas. The big game for the Longhorns.
Our hero here so far for the Boilers, Cardinal.
Cardinal has been outstanding in the second half. He's really created a lot of offensive opportunities for Purdue as they're trying to fight off this Dayton comeback.
Has 13.7 at halftime. Now Morris. Ashman. Morris.
Cardinal trying to match up inside against Ashman right now.
Stanley.
Oh my!
What a shot! Wow! Stanley. And he ties it up at 38. Green knocks it away. Take another look at this one.
They say speed kills. In this case, it's the quickness of Dayton that's really hurting Purdue. Stanley loses the ball, but watch how far he goes in the air, sliding to the basket. That is really a great move by Stanley.
38-38.
Now back in that zone. When they went to the zone in the first half, Purdue started lighting them up from three-point range.
Here's Cardinal being pressed by Green. Skip pass, Cornell. Dumps it inside Robinson. Double team. 8 to shoot, Cunningham. And Ashman with the strong rebound.
Dayton wants to push it.
Stanley takes the three. Rebounded by Hall.
And that's the situation where Ashman jumped into the middle of the pack, got his hand on the ball, and enabled Hall to get that rebound.
And 33 Brooks Hall at the line, 2 shots.
So Brooks Hall at the line, shooting 2. Second half of play, 14-14 to go. Purdue, Dayton tied at 38. And Dayton so far 17 of 42 from the field, 40%. Purdue 14 of 37, 37%. Brooks Hall, the talented freshman who picked up 2 early fouls, gets the second, and Dayton takes the lead.
First points of the game for Brooks Hall. This is a game that has been a gritty, intense defensive struggle. Neither team playing particularly well on the offensive end, but neither coach can be disappointed with the effort.
First lead for Dayton since the score was 4-3. Cardinal backdoor to Cornell. Bad shot. Robinson with the rebound. In traffic, he's fouled. Officials letting him play.
What a tremendous offensive rebounder Mike Robinson is. Cardinal gets the pass inside. Cornell's more worried about the charge, doesn't really concentrate on the shot, but watch Robinson on the inside, goes and gets the ball, and then goes right to the basket with it. They say that Robinson is Purdue's offensive rebounding specialist, and Cardinal is the defensive rebounding specialist, and Robinson living up to that name today.
But still struggling from the free throw line. Mike Robinson, 3 of 7 from the line today.
On the season, only about 65%, and as much as Robinson goes to the line, if he could get that up to about 75%, he'd score a bunch more points for the Boilermakers of Purdue.
For 22, Jerome Cornell.
Maynard Lewis back into the game. McQuaid takes his seat. Allison also in the game for Purdue. Mike Robinson, one more coming. Talking about his offensive rebounds, he has 106 on the year, 85 defensive.
He knows where the ball is, and he knows how to go get it.
He can smell it. 39 apiece, three-pointer Hall. Out.
You mentioned he has only scored 1 point in this game. He's a very valuable three-point shooter for Dayton, and they have been missing the offensive punch that he gives them.
Averages 10, but he's letting the game come to him, not forcing up anything.
Matched up against Cardinal now in the man-to-man.
Lewis around the corner. And Allison slips and travels.
By rule, if you have the ball in your possession and fall to the ground with the ball in your possession, it's a turnover, traveling violation, and that says it all, Gene Katie's expression.
Dayton and Purdue tied at 39. Flyers 1 of 13 from the three-point line. They shoot 37% on the season.
And they rely on that three-pointer for about 30% of their offensive production.
Ashman holding. 8 to go. Fade away 8-footer and air ball. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Dayton.
That was good defense by Allison. Oliver Purnell up. He thought that Ashman was hit on the wrist by Allison.
12 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the second half of play. Game number 2 here in Tucson. The first one won by Oklahoma over Winthrop. The Sooners waiting for the winner of this one.
Dayton shooting the ball much better in the second half, but this still looks like a game that each team is just going to have to tough out.
Cunningham had 3 threes in the first half. Robinson with the step, elevates. Oh! Allison with the follow.
Even against the zone, penetration off the dribble can be deadly. You force a defender to come and pick you up. There's nobody available in the spot for the blockout.
And Purdue reclaims the lead.
Purdue stays in the man-to-man defense.
Edwin Young. Morris.
Looking for that penetration.
Around the corner. Ashman. Pump fake. Lean in. Can't get it over the lip of the rim. And Cardinal with the rebound.
Well, he just out-battled Holland for that ball. Holland had pretty good position.
Now Cardinal. Lewis for 3. Edwin Young with the board.
There's those guards rebounding the ball.
Dayton with numbers. Ashman. Rebounded Yante Holland. Loose ball. Knocked out of bounds. We stay right here. 11:21 to go in the second half of play. 41-39 Purdue. 41-39 Purdue leads Dayton, and the bracket here in the West region, first round from Tucson. Oklahoma advancing with the 74-50 win over Winthrop. They play the winner of this one, and later tonight Louisville Gonzaga or St. John's Northern Arizona. Later on tonight, though, other games that will be played in the Midwest, Valpo and Michigan State, Jackson State, Arizona, Gonzaga, Louisville, and the big game, Iona and Maryland.
Iona, of course, coached by Jeff Ruland, and Maryland playing about as well as any team in the country coming into the NCAA tournament.
Jeff Ruland also a big star for Iona. Professionally, he played in the Washington, D.C. area.
Dayton goes back to the man-to-man defense. Each coach continues to go to his bench as the intensity of this game really tends to tire you out.
Cornell leans in.
Oh, what a play by Cardinal. Shot clock running down, and the catch and shoot all in one motion. Cardinal having a big, big second half for the Boilermakers of Purdue.
15 points for Cardinal. Now Morris kicks it out. Stanley. Reach-in foul.
Talk about Brian Cardinal and being Citizen Payne. Cardinal, number 35, trying to get position. Now watch, he's being held by Green, still being held down, but he's able to catch the ball and put it in the basket.
6 of 10 from the field, Brian Cardinal. 43-39, Purdue.
Stanley really struggling shooting the ball today.
Ashman. That one off the mark by Morris. Rebounded Stanley. Somehow pops in Ashman's hands, and he deposits the basketball.
Stanley just out-hustled McQuay for that rebound. You figure the bigger guy is going to claim that one, but Stanley just wrestled it away from it. That was a big basket for Dayton. They can't get it to go down from three-point range.
Now Kirkhoff to Cornell. The backcourt, Cardinal. Skip pass to Cornell.
Flyers back to the zone.
In the corner, Lewis. Block. Green got a hand on it. Other side, Kirkhoff. Big three.
Gus, that young man has made 4 three-point baskets all year. Coming into this game, has made 2 today.
And Purdue takes a 5-point lead. He's saving his best for the right moment.
knows how to make an entrance.
Morris, step back, 15-footer. This kid is hard.
He's got such great quickness, and he's not afraid to take a big shot. I think that was a big shot. Purdue starting to take control.
From Hyattsville, Maryland.
Dayton switches defense once again.
Lewis.
Back to the man.
Cornell for three. Finally.
And all of a sudden, Purdue, which hit those 5 3-point baskets in a compressed period in the first half, now has hit 2 consecutive 3-point baskets, and they're stretching the lead out once again.
Up by 6, Jerron Cornell, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line, and look at the shooting. Dayton, 1 of 14.
Purdue doesn't rely on the 3-point basket nearly as Dayton, and Gene Katie doesn't like that foul call.
So Cardinal takes a seat. McQuay back into the game. Edwin Young also into the game. Number 42 in red for the Flyers. Hall inbounding on the baseline.
And Dayton had to struggle so hard to get even in this game, and then Purdue gets a little spurt and goes back out ahead once again. That tends to discourage teams trying to make comebacks.
Ashman across the lane, blocked. McQuay. Ashman gets it back, and he is shot down. Good old-fashioned cut block.
Kirchhoff going for the basketball. And that's the intensity with which this game has been played. Guys are just giving themselves up. They don't care who's standing in the way. They see the basketball and they go for it.
Third foul called against Kirchhoff. Now Young. Stanley, baseline, great play. So quick.
Dayton continues to get the penetration moves, but they can't get anything going from 3-point range, and I guess Purdue has decided they're not going to get beat from 3-point range.
49-45.
Dayton stays in the man-to-man.
Up top, Cornell penetrates and is hammered from behind.
The Dayton Flyers have really been struggling from 3-point range, but one reason is Purdue's playing up tight on them. That time Kirchhoff denies the 3, but is not quick enough to keep Stanley from getting to the baseline. Stanley, however, has really struggled. Has only hit 1 3-point basket today, and that has been a problem for the Dayton offense.
Ron Cornell, 62% free throw shooter, gets the first to fall.
It's a good play by Cornell to try to get the ball to the basket. He's struggling to find ways to contribute offensively, and maybe taking the ball to the goal and getting fouled is the way to do it. Kirchhoff gets a nice hand.
Second free throw good. 7:41 to go. 51-45 Purdue.
A tradition.
Game summary, the most illuminating statistic, Dayton 1 of 14 from the 3-point line.
And again, Dayton relies on the 3-point shot for about 30% of its offense, and so the Flyers really struggling. Neither team shooting the ball very well. This game has been about grit and determination. We'll see who has more down the stretch.
And Stanley for Dayton, 1 of 8 from the 3-point line. He's 5 of 14 from the field, 11 points.
Stanley has been able to create offense by taking the ball to the basket.
Now Morris, along with Green, Hall, Ashman, and Young. Hall kicks it out.
It's good defense by Purdue.
And when Young skips across the lane with 14 to shoot. Morris, 10 to shoot. Off the dribble, pushed off. Bounce pass, kick, out of bounds. Last touch by Purdue with 4 on the shot clock.
That was a very difficult pass for Green to handle, that bounce pass down around the ankles. And when your big guy is going to the basket, anticipating the guard shooting the ball, it's awfully hard to react and pick that ball up off the floor. Dayton needs to shoot. They need to be aware of the time on the shot clock.
Ashman holds it up high and hits.
Dayton needs to turn up the intensity on the defensive end. Purdue has scored the last couple of trips down. Man-to-man.
Carson Cunningham. Robinson, reach in 5.
And that's not a good play by Green. Robinson is not going to shoot the ball from out there. Green needs to play a couple of steps off and play Robinson for that drive to the basket, particularly the drive to the baseline. Oliver Purnell not very happy with that turn of events.
And Green called for his 3rd, and it's the 6th team foul against Dayton, the next one, and they will be over the limit, 1-1 for Purdue. Lewis drives baseline, knocked away, stolen by Morris. Here comes a crafty point guard with numbers, and kickball called on Cornell. That's a good play.
That's an outstanding play by Cornell because it was a 4-on-2. Takes away the easy opportunity.
And here's an upset inside. Stanley can't get the lay. And Lewis.
LSU in trouble against Southeast Missouri State.
Cornell for 3. Duran, after sleepwalking through the first half of play, he has 10 points, 8 in the second half.
It was Carson Cunningham from three-point range in the first half for Purdue, and it's been Duran Cornell in the second half. And now Dayton has dug themselves a pretty big hole against this Purdue defense.
Morris crosses over. Ashman, he's keeping him in it. Mark Ashman with 16. And a substitute. Yonte Holland had 10 points in the first half of play, but he's been buried on the bench for much of this second half, although he started the second half.
Started the second half, but I don't think the tempo out on the court was what Oliver Purnell wanted, and so he went back to Green. But now Oliver Purnell and the Dayton Flyers need to tighten it up on defense.
Backdoor stolen. Edwin Young.
They got to stop, and now they will have to see if they can get a conversion.
15 turnovers by Purdue. Stanley for 3. Let's see if they can hit it.
Oh, way off.
That one way off the mark. 1 of 9 from the three-point line.
That ball, Dayton claiming the ball bounced off one of the Purdue players, but Purdue's going to keep the ball. So the Dayton Flyers, they get a great defensive stop, but they're still not able to convert. Now only 1 of 15 from beyond the arc, and Purdue shooting the three-pointer very effectively.
And Stanley, as I mentioned, 1 of 9 from the three-point line. Cunningham, hand checking, all against Holland. Carson Cunningham will step to the line and shoot. He's an 81% free throw shooter.
And you wonder why Oliver Purnell's team is struggling to score points. Stanley, the leading scorer, only 1 of 9 from beyond the three-point arc, and Brooks Hall, the third leading scorer, only has 1 point in the game. So Purdue has done a nice job shutting off 2 of the key cogs in the Dayton machine.
1-1 for Cunningham.
Sort of the old Don Nelson free throw technique.
It's effective.
81% worth. It's a guy you'd like to have at the line.
Purdue shoots 68% as a team. Missed the second, and Ashman has it stripped by Smith.
Mike Robinson got his hand in there.
Cornell.
Purdue can afford to be patient with the basketball. Run some time off the clock.
Approaching the 5-minute mark. Backdoor. Oh, Robinson can't lay it down.
Boy, that's one you want to take up there and dunk.
Morris the other way, the runner.
That is not a good decision by Morris, taking the ball into traffic. If you have an open opportunity on the break, certainly take it, but not that one.
Bounce pass knocked away by Ashman into the hands of Hall.
And another good defensive play by Dayton, but they haven't been able to score points after those defensive plays.
Flyers down by only 6. A lot of time remaining in this one. Ashman. Crowd wanted a call. Ashman, the back down. Ashman, saved by Morris. Hall. Stanley finally buried a 3. 2 of 10.
Ashman is doing a great job battling on the inside. Didn't have any success himself that time, but kept the ball alive.
55-52. Smith throws it out of bounds. Purdue getting a little shaky. 55-52, under 4 to go. And the game reset. Team fouls. Dayton 7 and Purdue with 6. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Sportsline stat of the game. Points in the paint. 38.
Dayton doing a great job on the inside, but Dayton has not been able to hit from the perimeter with the three-point shot Purdue has.
Get complete NCAA tournament coverage at cbs.sportsline.com.
That's what we're talking about with the three-point shooting. Dayton now 2 of 16. But for all of their struggling from the three-point arc, Dayton has a chance to tie the game with a 3 on this possession.
Stanley 2 of 10. He just hit 1. Guarded by Robinson.
And Robinson has been very effective with his defense against Stanley all day long.
Stanley stepped back. Hops inside. 8-foot jumper. Count it. And it's a 1-point game.
Dayton now looking to get it done on the defensive end. Man-to-man.
Momentum in the favor of the Flyers. The Cardinals been coming up big all afternoon.
Ashman playing off of McQuay. Trying to help out.
13 to shoot. Cornell. And a whistle.
And Holland.
Oh, it's an offensive foul against Purdue. Cardinal called for his first.
Not happy with that call. Even though he's smiling, that is not a serious smile. But since Cardinal did not have the ball, now Dayton will get to go down and shoot 1-and-1. And the interesting thing about it, even though we're late into the game, neither team is in the double bonus. So the next couple of foul situations will be 1-and-1 opportunities.
Dayton, a good free throw shooting team, 71%. Holland, though, struggling right under 60. Don't tell him that. He ties the game up at 55.
Gene Katie telling his team to block out.
Good rotation, both free throws, good. And the Flyers take a 56-55 lead.
Dayton has come all the way back once again. Now, do they have the energy to maintain the lead and avoid another pretty
steal? The freshman, Hall to the hole! Timeout, Purdue. Tuesday, April 4th, CBS presents an extraordinary television event, Falcone. The FBI's best agent is going deeper into the mob than anyone's been before. Jason Gedrick stars as Falcone. Don't miss the compelling new drama coming to CBS Tuesday, April 4th.
Brooks Hall, the freshman that we talked so much about before the game, who's really struggled offensively, gets the steal there in the layup. And the interesting thing about Hall is he's just let the game come to him. He hasn't really tried to force anything.
9-0 run for the Flyers. Cunningham with the screen. Air ball.
And the Purdue bench, you can see Gene Katie saying that that ball was tipped. Cunningham coming off that screen. It was a good screen by Carter, but Dayton's quickness out on the perimeter doing a nice job. One of the Dayton Flyers' strengths is that perimeter defense, and they showed it there.
Now Stanley down the lane. Cunningham with the rebound.
Greg Gumbel in New York. Dayton with a 3-point lead on the Purdue Boilermakers. Right now, we're going to send you to Salt Lake City. 15 seconds to play. LSU with a 3-point lead. Craig Bolerjack and Barry Booker.
61. 15.2 seconds remain here in Salt Lake City. LSU and Southeast Missouri State battling to the wire. And a timeout called by Simo. And we'll take another break. 3-point game. And we'll be right back. LSU with a 3-point lead after the 3-pointer by Torres Bright. It was a 5-point LSU lead at the half. 4 of 25 shooting for Southeast Missouri State, Barry Booker, in the first half, and then Roderick Johnson taking over for the Indians.
Roderick Johnson, the OVC tournament MVP, really played well here in the second half. His intensity and fire inside has kept this club close.
Oh, tough defense by LSU, looking for 3. Loose ball picked up. Roderick Johnson, no! Rebound LSU. And at the buzzer, the Tigers win.
LSU 64, Southeast Missouri 61.
Tough loss for the Indians of Southeast Missouri State, 64-61. Let's get you back to Tucson in the game between the Dayton Flyers and the Purdue Boilermakers, 61-58 Purdue. Let's rejoin Gus Johnson and Dan Bonner.
Today.
1:10 to go in the second half. Purdue on top of Dayton, 61-58, a 6 versus an 11. Purdue the 6. They're 10 of 23 from the 3-point line. And Morris starts the offense on the left wing.
Just got to watch the 5-second call.
Ashman pops out. They're looking for Stanley. He's great off the dribble. 9 to shoot. And Morris splits the defense down the lane, blocked and swatted by Cardinal.
Blocked
2 to go.
By Cardinal. Cardinal just hits the big 3 on the other end and then makes the great play on this end.
2 to shoot.
Cardinal just follows him along, waiting for him, perching for that ball.
Hall inside, wide open. Holland, how'd he get open? 1-point game. 61-60 Purdue on top of Dayton. 28 seconds to go. Bounce pass inside McQuay. He's fouled from behind.
Fouls on number 23, Yontae Holland.
And McQuay, folks, is a 49% free throw shooter.
He got wide open on the inside. Holland does a great job getting in there, committing the foul. You cannot give up a dunk in that situation. Holland came flying in there to make the play. 2-shot foul.
First one in and out.
Here's this last inbounds play. A great catch by Holland to score it, and then he commits the foul down on the other end, but it's an important foul. Now, if you're Dayton, the key thing here is to block out.
23.6 to go. Second one good. 2-point game. Shot clock turned off. And Morris will start it from the wing. Stanley. Hall, the freshman, for 3. Off the front rim, loose ball. Hall again. And a whistle and foul. A whistle and foul. He'll shoot 1 and 1.
Fouls on number 23, Mike Robinson. His first 18
A gutsy play by Dayton. They went for the win. They weren't going for the tie. They were going for the win. And Hall, who struggled all game long on the offensive end, misses the 3-point shot, but is able to claim the offensive rebound. Now this is pressure. 1 and 1.
First one good.
Gene Katie looks relaxed over there.
Oh, he missed the second. Loose ball. Stanley.
There's a foul.
And another foul.
A foul on Ashman. And And who did he foul? He fouled Brian Cardinal. Cardinal getting himself in position for that rebound. Cardinal has been big, particularly in this second half. You can see the concern on Oliver Purnell's face. Hall, an 81% free throw shooter. The ball is off. Cardinal has it, and Ashman grabs him from behind. Ashman from behind just grabs on, and you know, if Ashman doesn't grab him, Cardinal had lost the ball.
4 seconds to go, 1-point game.
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage. And if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
62-61, Purdue leads Dayton. Brian Cardinal at the free throw line,
where he is a 78% free throw shooter. It's a 1-and-1. Keep in mind, even if he makes both shots, it's only a 3-point game, and Dayton has the opportunity. 4 seconds is plenty of time to get the ball down the court and get a good look at a 3. Obviously, if you're Purdue, you defend the 3. You don't worry about defending the 2.
Everybody on the line for Dayton. Brian Cardinal, 1-and-1. And he missed it. Ashman with the rebound, and a timeout quickly called by Purnell. They will be inbounding the ball in the backcourt after the timeout.
Just a minute. Poor baby. Wow, 125. I'll go download your homework.
The Microsoft Connected Learning Community. With internet software that connects, you'll never miss school. Sorry.
.2 remaining, and the game reset. Both teams over the limit. Dayton with no timeouts remaining. Purdue with 2. Possession arrow in the favor of the Flyers.
Gus, and this is going to be a throw-in for Dayton, out of bounds, underneath the basket, 94 feet away. They cannot run. It was after a rebound, so it's a spot throw-in. The man has to occupy the spot. The idea is to not let him throw it long, and that's why Allison is going to be right there with those arms up at 6'10".
Morris at the half-court line. Keys it up. No good, out of bounds, and Purdue wins.
Does an excellent job defending against Dayton's last play. The ball comes in to Morris, and there, look who that is. That's Brian Cardinal defending, and Morris is not able to get off a good shot. Oliver Purnell, that's not exactly the shot that he was looking for, but Brian Cardinal with a great defensive play, and disappointment by Oliver Purnell. Gene Katie, well, at least that got him up off his seat.
So the Purdue Boilermakers hold on to defeat Dayton. A number 6 defeating a number 11, and that will set up the matchup of Oklahoma, a 3 versus a 6 on Saturday. Oklahoma, Purdue. And our Chevrolet players of the game, Tony Stanley, 16 points, 6 rebounds for Dayton, and Brian Cardinal always coming up big for this Purdue team, 18 points and 7 boards. Purdue survives. They advance led by Citizen Payne. Coming up, Greg Gumbel in New York after this.
You see that as a final. The Boilermakers 62-61 over Dayton. Purdue advances to play Oklahoma in the second round on Saturday. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, 2:47 to play in the second half. Syracuse with a 15-point lead on Samford. Let's take you to the CSU Convocation Center. Kevin Harlan and John Sunvold.
Syracuse's biggest lead today, 75-58. But at one time, it was a 3-point lead with 13 minutes to play. But outstanding shooting in the second half by Syracuse. And there's a nice backdoor to senior Boyd Kaiser of Samford, little school from Birmingham, and the 13th seed in this Midwest region, as Hart tries to work inside.
Well,
top to Griffin.
And the ability of the Orangemen to switch from a zone to a man-to-man defense really put some more pressure on Samford outside. They've had a couple layups, but outstanding move by Jim Boeheim. Then he put in Alan Griffin. Another ball handler. They've spread the floor offensively. They've shot a high percentage this second half.
And Tom Thomas had some foul trouble, so they've had to go in some other directions. Thomas is in there right now, and you can see some shoving. And here's a look at our Midwest region. The #1 seed, Michigan State, will play in the first game tonight against Valparaiso. Earlier today, we had a double overtime game with 5th seed Kentucky.
Oh, what a game that was.
Beating, it was a feisty St. Bonaventure ball club, 85-80, double overtime, and Kentucky almost blew it, John, with some horrible fouls they committed late in the game, very questionable fouls that resuscitated St. Bonaventure and kept them right in it.
Well, Tubby had 5 guys left that he had played, and that's all that played that second overtime.
No Desmond Allison for Kentucky because of the DUI charge. He is indefinitely suspended for the Wildcats, who have a team of 9 players they have brought to this first round in Cleveland this weekend.
Well, after a couple layups on the offensive end by Samford, Jim Boeheim has now said he needs a 2-3 zone again.
Outside they go, and Daniel can't hit it. Rebound is retrieved down low by Blackwell. Texas winning today over Indiana State, as you see more scores at the bottom of your screen, and a miss by Shumpert and a foul called inside. Oklahoma winning. One of the top teams in the Big 12. The CBS Sportsline stat of the game, bench points, and Syracuse has been dynamite in that category.
And the guy who has led the way, Preston Shumpert, on the free throw line with 15.
3 threes from him. Get complete NCAA tournament coverage at cbs.sportsline.com. In fact, we've seen at one time Syracuse was shooting, John, 80% from the field in the second half.
Well, when Shumpert came in the first half, he stretches the defense out. The man-to-man defense, all of a sudden, Samford had to go out and chase a little bit. Shumpert knocked in a couple three-pointers in the second half. It's been wide open for him.
Now we're licking our chops on a Kentucky-Syracuse game on Saturday here. And the alley-oop try, intercepted by Thomas. Lead pass for Griffin. Looks around Lopez and gets it back to Hart. He'll try to slow things up with the minute 20 to play.
Good ball handling team in there for Syracuse with Hart and Griffin out front. Blackwell and Shumpert on the side.
Calling card for Samford all season long has been their shooting, the #1 shooting team in college basketball, but today 40%, 50% team during the regular year.
Well, they stayed close in this ball game by their three-point shooting. 10 of 22, but defensively they've been no match for this powerful Syracuse team. It's really been the quickness of the Orangemen has allowed them to get easy looks on the offensive end.
Hart got it to Thomas, and a Samford timeout for the Orangemen. Trying to get on top of Jimmy Tillett and his Samford Bulldogs.
In my games, what I'm trying to create are these fantastic
presents an extraordinary television event. Falcone, the FBI's best agent, is going deeper into the mob than anyone's ever seen before. Jason Gedrick stars as Falcone. Tuesday, April 4th. Don't miss it here on CBS. Kevin Harlan and John Sunvold, courtside at the Cleveland State University Convocation Center in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. First round Midwest, and a three-point shot by Danny will go down. 42 seconds to play. The Orangemen of Syracuse lead it 79-65.
Solid effort this afternoon by the Orangemen. Solid zone defense at times. They switched to man-to-man.
Early today, Kentucky, as you see, won, and there's a violation on Hart. 5-second violation on Jason Hart. Some nice defensive play by Mario Lopez, number 11. LSU won a close game over Southeast Missouri State and Texas with the best center in the country, Chris Min, beating Indiana State. Purdue by one over.
That's a great game this afternoon.
Standing games. Lee Burgess, a senior from Montgomery, Alabama, whose dad is a brigadier general in the U.S. Army, just checks in for the first time in the final 12 seconds of the game. Jason Hart has been the heart and soul of the Orangemen today. Tapped away by Rawlings and picked up by Brett Renee. And his shot is off. So Saturday coming up, it'll be Kentucky against Syracuse. And today, the Orangemen douse 13th seeded Samford 79-65. The Chevy players of the game: Rawlings for Samford and Thomas for Syracuse. For John Sunvold, Kevin Harlan, so long from Cleveland.
It does. Top seed in the Midwest, Michigan State, will be in action tonight, as will the West top seed.